We're basically stripping all the nutrients out of the earth. We're spilling all this toxic waste into our home environments and into the external environments. And we're basically killing the planet.
It's those chemicals, it's that stress of life, it's those environmental contaminants and pollutants outside. Just for example, air pollution, water contaminants, all of those literally mean that our body is constantly being bombarded. Our bodies are literally 5 million years old. Sometimes it feels like that when you wake up in the morning, but they're 5 million. Our digestive system, all of these things, our muscles, we were designed to be leading a life of the hunter-fisher-gatherer.
And the only stress we had was the acute stress of the kill. And there were no synthetic chemicals.
Fast forward 5 million years and here we are, living inside in a contaminated environment.
The immune system today is having to deal with tens of thousands of completely alien chemicals to the biological experience of the human organism. And what that means over a period of time is that we can become immune deficient, especially if we have the two-edged sword of the diet, or a poor diet, lack of hydration, lack of exercise, and stress cutting in at the same time.
I would suggest that up to 95% of the chronic illnesses that we're suffering from ADHD to Alzheimer's, heart attack, to stroke and cancer, to arthritis and all those other diseases are linked with our diet and lifestyle of the 21st century.
I think it's important to recognise the fact that 1 in every 2 men get cancer in their lifetimes and 1 in every 3 women get cancer in their lifetimes, and that we are facing a major and unparalleled cancer epidemic. And at the rate in which we're going, it'll become an almost universal problem in which 1 in every man will get cancer in their lifetime unless we come to grips with this question of reducing avoidable exposures to carcinogens in the totality of our environment.
45% of people living in the modern world can expect to die of some form of cardiovascular disease. The rates of cancer are increasing above 30% now. They used to be around 25, they're going up to 30, 35%. They're increasing all the time, and I think one of the reasons for that is the excessive exposure to these ubiquitous synthetic chemicals, both within our homes and outdoors as well, and also the increasing exposure to radiation. And it's just everywhere in many of the products we use within our home.
We're using chemicals that have simply not been tested over time to see what their effects would be, say, on the blood work, the reproductive system, the endocrine system, and these problems are now being identified as disease, and then a drug is being given to that person to correct the symptom, but no way is that correcting the underlying disease process, or indeed the causative process, which could be chemical.
In my practice, I have seen a lot of toxicity issues, a lot of sensitivity, allergy issues. We have people who are sensitive because the total load of all these sensitizing chemicals is too much for them to bear.
A chemical I'm concerned about is sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, and the reason I'm concerned about it is, first of all, we know it's used extensively in industry as a degreaser, but nowadays it's found in just about every single one of the personal care products that an individual will have. So you've got it in your soaps, you've got it in your shampoos, conditioners, anything that foams up, you've got sodium lauryl sulfate.
And it is particularly harsh on our skin. It strips away all the natural oils. This is commonly found in toothpastes as well.
And of course, in a toothpaste, it's mixed with another half a dozen or a dozen products. And of course, they can also disrupt the cells in the mouth. The SLS can then be absorbed quicker into the blood, whereas it's exactly where you don't want it. Why do you want a foaming agent in your blood? It's crazy.
And so we find that, for example, diethanolamine causes cancer in rats. Now, would I want my children to be bathing in a bubble bath with diethanolamine in it? And it's unforgivable that cosmetic companies are using it. It's unexplainable that the governments, etc., are allowing this to happen.
We know there are vitamin C issues with food that is left lying around at room temperature. We also know that a lot of these foods are grown in soils that have become progressively deficient in minerals over the years, which passes the whole problem to the agrochemical industry, who now have to offer farmers pesticides, herbicides and a whole range of chemicals to rid the bugs. Of course, the bugs are only there because the food is sick. And that's the food that goes into the food chain.
We definitely need to look at putting in additional nutrients into our system. So supplements in the form of herbal and nutritional, mineral, etc. are a very easy way to top our system up, keep our immune system on track for our life.
In a natural world, we have that amount of free radicals, and our natural diet that we have from eating good fresh food, we create that amount of antioxidants, so we balance the free radicals versus the antioxidants. And the people living in a very natural environment don't get the heart disease and the cancer. In our world, where we get that amount of free radicals, only that amount of antioxidants, there's that huge shortfall, and that's why I believe we really need to markedly increase the dose of antioxidants we get from all sources, not just from food. But what's the problem in our modern medical system? We have the ambulance parked at the bottom of the cliff waiting for people to fall off. So instead of fixing the rails at the top of the cliff, what do we do in medicine? We build faster ambulances. We wait for someone to have their heart attack or their bowel cancer operation, and then we give them treatment. That's craziness.
What we need to do is to focus on disease prevention and cancer prevention. The wake-up call is we are not a healthy society, we're a sick society, we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker every day because of the reckless policies of global petrochemical industries whose interests are so great and whose influence with governments and regulatory agencies are so great that the information of the risks of their products is not being communicated to the public, hasn't been communicated to the public, and will not be.
Realise that what happens in the environment is every single person's responsibility, every single person's problem. So I believe life is about making a decision. It's not making the big decision that you're going to change the planet. It's not making the big decision you're going to change yourself and be healthy. It's making 30, 40, 50 small decisions every day. Decisions like, no, I won't use the elevator or the lift or the escalator, I'll walk up the stairs. No, I won't eat that biscuit, I'll have a piece of fruit, or I'll have a natural, a handful of natural nuts or something like that. I won't yell at that idiot in the traffic who just cut in front of me. It's about making all those small decisions. No, I will use a more natural product than using some synthetic deodorant. I'll use a natural toothpaste than a synthetic toothpaste. It's making all of these small decisions in your life every day that either take you and the planet towards good health, or you and the planet towards a premature death and demise. And we not only have a responsibility for ourselves, but a responsibility for our children and our children's children to keep all of us and to keep the planet very healthy.